Once a change to the agreement between two parties, in this case the owner and the general contractor, has been identified, it's important to properly price and to professionally prepare a change order request to present to the owner and or the architect to determine whether or not the change should be incorporated into the contract. Changes to the agreement can begin in several ways. They can be found as a gap in the documents that could not have been foreseen during the bid phase, or they can be prompted by the owner or the architect or the engineer when they desire to make a change to the project. In the example on the screen, there's a prompt that came from a future tenant of a space on a construction project whereby he wanted to make a couple of changes. On the screen, you will see an example of a change order prompt in the form of an email. In the body of the email, there were two important requests raised. First, that an existing door opening between a conference room and an office be framed across due to the fact that the tenant was not going to need to use the door. Secondly, they requested that a price be worked up to provide glass in the office doors so that the occupants of the offices could see out into the office space. These requests were sent from the tenant to the developer and ultimately to the general contractor performing the renovations on the space for pricing. Once the change order prompt has been issued, it puts the contractor in a position where he has to price or determine what the impact to the original agreement is, and if there is some impact, determine whether it's cost or scope or schedule or all three, or just what it entails, and then professionally prepare a change order request, much like you see on the screen, to present the impact to the appropriate parties, in this case the owner. As you can see, this change order request is number one. It's the first change order of the project, so it's number one. The date is noted, who it's sent to and who it's from, and then the scope is noted. Provide half-glass doors in lieu of solid doors by providing metal frame light kits for wood doors. The light kits will include tempered glass, and the frames will be painted to match the door frames. Doors are on hold pending a decision on this change proposal. The price breakdown is included, the door light kits, the tempered glass, the labor to install all that, and the labor and the material to paint those frames once they're installed. And with the subtotal, the general office overhead and insurances, the allowed markup or profit on the job, the total is $617.76. Now, schedule is addressed on this change order request, and there's no change in time required if there's a decision made by 7/28/12. Once the change order request has been issued, and if approved by the appropriate parties, then it's time to issue a formal change order. In this case, it's change order number one. This is the first change to the agreement since the contract was signed. Now, there can be many change order requests included in a single change order, but in this case, there's one change order request that will be included in the change order. A change order identifies what the project name is. In this case, it's Modus, who the contractor is. There's some other pertinent information that needs to be filled out. The distribution blocks are checked, who's going to get copies of the change orders, the owner, architect, contractor, or the field office. The scope is outlined under where it says the contract is changed as follows, and it just basically says incorporate change order request number one dated 7/21/12 from Thompson Building Company. Change order COR number one is for the half light doors in the offices. So it's letting the change order request really tell people what the scope of this change is by just pointing people to the change order request. The original sum is noted, the original contract sum is noted, previous change orders, which are zero, are noted. So the updated contract amount is $250,000. The contract sum will be changed by this change order in the amount of $617.76, and the new contract sum, including this change order, will be $250,000, $617.76. The contract time will be changed by 0 days because the owner made the decision in the requested time frame. The substantial completion date, therefore, is still September the 15th, 2012. Now, it's important to fill in all these blanks when issuing a change order. Then the signature blocks are filled out and ready for all parties to sign. Once they're signed, then this change order is officially a change to the contract agreement between the owner and the contractor. So in review, a change order prompt starts the whole change order process. Once a change order prompt is issued or received by the contractor, then he is obligated to assess the original agreement against the change to determine if there's anything that changes with regards to scope, price, schedule, or contract terms. If he determines that there has been a change, then the contractor will price the work and issue it in the form of a change order request to the owner or to the architect, whoever the appropriate party is. If the change order request is approved, then a formal change order will be issued, thereby incorporating the changed work into the agreement between the owner and the contractor.